All right, so we're going to get started with this portion of our evening. It's the Transgender Day of Remembrance and Resilience. I don't know if you'll have ever been to a vigil like this, but I'm glad that you're here to participate in one today. Okay? So my name is Dr. Betsy Dahms. I work as a Spanish professor and Chief Diversity Officer at the University of West Georgia. I am honored to share Friendsgiving with you and invite you to join me in celebrating Trans Day of Remembrance and Resilience. So today, as we celebrate Trans Day of Remembrance and Resilience, we honor the lives lost to anti-transgender violence and honor those who continue to fight for transgender dignity and equity every day. In addition to being a day of mourning, usually celebrated on November 20th, but we're doing it today, in recent years, the transgender community has also started to celebrate the resilience of the community and the ongoing fight for social justice. As we take the time to recognize the resilience and strength of our transgender community in the face of adversity, we must continue to work toward creating a world in which everyone can live their lives without fear of discrimination or violence. We remember the names of the transgender people whose lives have been lost to anti-transgender violence over the year, and we continue to demand increased and accurate media coverage of transgender people in their lives and in death. These are the names of the transgender people we know of whose lives have been taken due to anti-transgender violence in the United States this year. But it should be noted that the crimes are often misreported or underreported or not reported at all. These are the deaths as collected by GLAAD, a nonprofit organization focused on LGBTQ+ advocacy and cultural change. After I read the name of each person, I ask that everyone respond in unison with presente to link this day with a long tradition in Latin American justice movements by invoking the memory of those we have lost and their lives in this struggle. We will make our lost ones known and present by continuing this tradition here today to let the slain know that they are lost but not forgotten, and perhaps more importantly, that we will continue the struggle for civil rights in their names. Okay? I'm going to read their names, a little bit about them, and after I say their age, I'd like you all to repeat with presente. Okay? London Price, a Black trans woman, was killed in Miami-Dade County, Florida on October 23rd. She was 26 years old.
Presente.
Lisa Love, a Black trans woman, was killed in Chicago, Illinois on October 17th. She was 35 years old.
Presente.
Annie Johnson, a Black trans woman, was killed in Washington, D.C. on October 14th. She was 30 years old.
Presente.
Dominic Dupree, also known as Dominic Palace, a Black gender nonconforming person, was killed in Chicago, Illinois on October 13th. They were 25 years old.
Presente.
China Long, a Black trans woman, was killed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on October 8th. She was 30 years old.
Presente.
Yoko, you only know one, a Black non-binary person, was killed in New Orleans, Louisiana on September 19th. They were 30 years old.
Presente.
Sherlyn Marjorie, a Latina trans woman, was killed in Albuquerque, New Mexico on September 17th. She was 35 years old.
Presente.
Kylie Monali, a trans woman, was killed in Murrieta, California on September 7th. She was 41 years old.
Presente.
Luis Angel Diaz Castro, a Latino transgender man, was killed in San Juan, Puerto Rico on August 12th. He was 22 years old.
Presente.
Thomas Tom Robertson, a Black gender nonconforming person, was killed in Calumet City, Illinois on August 17th. They were 28 years old.
Presente.
Devani Jeray Johnson, a Black trans woman, was killed in Los Angeles, California on August 7th. She was 28 years old.
Presente.
Jacob Williamson, a white trans man, was killed in Monroe, North Carolina on June 30th. He was 18 years old.
Presente.
Chanel Perez Ortiz, a Latina trans woman, was killed in Carolina, Puerto Rico on June 25th. She was 29 years old.
Presente.
Asia Davis, a black trans woman, was killed in Detroit, Michigan on June 2nd. She was 34 years old.
Presente.
Bonko Brown, a black trans man, was killed in San Francisco, California on April 27th. He was 24 years old.
Presente.
Rashida Coco Dadal Williams, a black trans woman, was killed in Atlanta, Georgia on April 18th. She was 35 years old.
Presente.
Ashley Burton, a black trans woman, was killed in Atlanta, Georgia on April 11th. She was 37 years old.
Presente.
Tasaya Woodland, a black trans woman, was killed in St. Mary's County, Maryland on March 24th. She was 18 years old.
Presente.
Tortuguita, an indigenous, queer, and non-binary individual, was killed in Atlanta, Georgia on January 18th. They were 26 years old.
Presente.
Kashay B. Henderson, a black trans woman, was killed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on February 26th. She was 31 years old.
Presente.
Imanatawahu Zaki, a black trans woman, was killed in Louisville, Kentucky on February 3rd. She was 26 years old.
Presente.
Maria Fer, a Latina trans woman, was killed in Houston, Texas on January 21st. She was 22 years old.
Presente.
Jasmine Starr Mack, a black trans woman, was killed in Washington, D.C. on January 7th. She was 36 years old.
Presente.
Unique Banks, a Latina trans woman, was killed in Chicago, Illinois on January 23rd. She was 21 years old.
Presente.
May they rest in peace and in power.